Close your eyes and think of your favorite childhood meal. The smell, the appearance, the warmth, and the delicious taste. And now, imagine a child who's never tasted it before. That's the gap we are bridging. On the one side of the bridge, we have elders and some minors who are living in a situation where they cannot afford not even a normal meal. So what is on the other side of the bridge? Tons of edible food called as food waste are being disposed into landfills of Hong Kong every single day. It actually makes up almost 30% of the municipal solid waste in Hong Kong. So how much food waste is produced every single day? 3,300 tons of them. That's the weight of 1,650 African elephants. At the same time, outside of this classroom, there is 1 in every 4 children and 1 in every 4 adults, and half of the seniors are living under the poverty line. How many of you spend less than 30% of your total income on food? What if that 30% is equal to only 1,000 Hong Kong dollar for a month? Because the poverty line in Hong Kong separates the people who are earning higher than 4,400 and less than 4,400 in Hong Kong dollar. If we consider the fact that low-income families spend only 30% of the total income on food, how much money do they need to spend on food every single day? Only 50 Hong Kong dollar. So what are we trying to bridge them into? Back in my high school, I used to work as a part-time barista at a very popular coffee shop in Mongolia. Being a barista meant brewing teas and making coffees, put all the sandwiches and fresh bakeries into the fridge. Most of the days, we used to sell all of our bakeries, but there were still some days that we cannot finish even half of our sandwiches. What do we do then? We were just calling them as a food waste and throwing them away into a trash bin. It was not the only case, people throwing away edible foods into the trash bin. So what similar cases have I found in Hong Kong? Wet markets, for example, waste 14 tons of edible food per day. And next stop will be the supermarkets, where they dispose 30 tons of edible food per day. So what conclusion do we have now? The hunger in Hong Kong is not about scarcity. It's not about the lack of resources, but it's about the systemic neglect. So who is bridging this gap? This is Ben. Ben has been working at the Hong Kong Federation of Women's Center for the last 3 years. He is a hero for 400 and more families in Sham Shui Po. But after working him with one academic term, I'd like to refer him as a Robin Hood of today's world. Robin Hood is an English folk hero who used to live in the Sherwood forest with his band. He used to steal the goods and food from the rich people and give it to the poor people. Robin Hood did not really collect vegetables or bread from wet markets or promote Cherish Food program like us, but he was still rebelling for the inequality. So what is Cherish Food? It's a program initiated by Hong Kong Federation of Women's Center in 2011. The idea is so simple. It aims at reducing the financial burden as well for the low-income families as well as the food waste. So how does it work? Being a volunteer was a very valuable experience for me, and all the volunteers were referred as a Cherish Food ambassador. The first step to become the Cherish Food ambassador is so simple, is to participate in the food collection activity. We had been collecting bread, produce, and a lot of vegetables from the wet markets in Sham Shui Po. And once we finished collecting the foods, we had been categorizing them at the Hong Kong Federation of Women's Center LUE3002 branch. Once we finished categorizing them, finally we had been distributing all the foods and vegetables to the low-income families in Sham Shui Po. It's not only about distributing the foods, but the other goal is to reduce the food waste. So what do we do with the leftovers from the distribution? We had been sending the leftovers to the other centers as a fish feed. So there will be no waste at all. After all this process, I was also taking part in the promotion activity where we had been promoting Cherish Food program both into the young adults and the elders. Elders, they can receive food from the program itself. But for the young adults, they can become the volunteers like me. Overall, was this project successful? Absolutely, because in the past half years, we had already collected 70,000 kilograms of produce, bread, and packaged food, and distributed them to the 400 families in Sham Shui Po. And I'd like to mention two companies here. One is Garden, and the other one is Vegetable Marketing Organization, who has been collaborating with our NGO lately, and they are also interested in keeping in touch with the NGO itself. But there is only one limitation for us to do more. Even though there are a lot of collaborating companies, we do not have the regular staffs for the program itself, which is limiting us to do more. However, we had been successfully continuing the program itself and also recycled 5,000 kilograms of inedible food as a fish feed. So what other information have I found about the organization itself? It's a non-religious and non-partisan organization which was founded in 1981. They had been undertaking several services to help young adults and elders under 5 missions. So what are the 5 missions? First one is to lead the advancement of women's interest, which is related to the first SDG goal, name it, no poverty. Under this mission, they have 2 services. One is called Caring the Carers, and then the other one is called Women Wellness Service. The second mission is to lead women develop their individual potential, which is also related to 4th SDG goal, name it, quality education. To improve the education of quality, they have 2 services. One is called continuing education, and then the other one is called childcare and after-school care. The third mission is to inform decision makers about women's needs and requires resources, which is also related to the 5th SDG goal, name it, gender equality. Under this mission, they have 2 services. One is called counseling and legal support, and then the handcraft workshop. The 4th mission is to promote the rights and the status of women, which is related to the 10th SDG goal, named reduce inequalities, and then the services are called gender education and social participation. The last mission is to collaborate with women's organization and focused on women's issues, which is related to the 11th SDG goal, and the services are called social enterprises and training and employment support. Now, can you see why we need more volunteers? Because the Hong Kong Federation of Women's Center at LUE3002 branch has only 10 regular staffs, where they are all tightly scheduled with the staffs and activities from these services, and also the Cherish Food program activities. It's not only about this, but also starting from next year, the Hong Kong Federation of Women's Center are also looking forward to reducing the medicine waste and the electronic devices waste. And for that, we need more and more volunteers. I'd like to leave you a final thought here. The current 400 families and possibly more families in Sham Shui Po need their Robin Hood, Ben. But Ben needs support and human resources to maintain the services. So I want you to remember that we all have an opportunity to become one of the Robin Hood just by joining the program. Thank you.